All right, it is now time for the Week 10 Fantasy Show. Only 4 more weeks. Yeah, 4 more weeks? 10, 11, 12, 13. No, 5 more weeks of the regular season. It's been an interesting one, and the standings are getting tight. Well, let's look at what happened in week number 9. Starting with my matchup versus Make Minnesota Great Again.
Oh,
Pook comes up with a big
great
victory
name.
as this team had a very nice performance, 150 to 141. It was very competitive. It was very high scoring, which some people predicted. Came down to Monday Night Football, and my fear last week on the show was that DeAndre Hopkins, newly acquired from the Chiefs, was going to have a big game, and he sure did with 28 big points. Kareem Hunt had 18, nice game, but not enough as it was a 1 point lead for me going into Monday Night Football versus these two. And Hopkins had the advantage with 2 touchdowns and a very nice game. I was worried after the week 1 game with Kansas City when he only had like 3 points that he was due for a much larger workload, and he got it. So they could not defend him. Other than that, pretty high scoring throughout. I made a mistake with the kickers. I was decided between Bass or Elliott, and I chose the Philly boy. And of course, I should have knew Nick Sirianni never kicks on normal situations. And he fucked me there. Although it wouldn't have mattered if I picked up. Actually, yes, it would have mattered because Bass got 15 and Elliott only got 4.3. So that was a difference of 11. So I actually would have pulled it out. So that cost me with that kicker mistake. Other than that, solid games from all of our team, from basically all of our players. I don't think anyone got single digits besides our final flexes, with Laporte having a shit game and Watson only getting 8. GG's. Anybody want to make any comments on this matchup? Moves Pook to 6-3, sends me to 5-4, both in the playoff at the moment, but it's tighter for me. Pook's looking now tied for first in a good spot. Anyone want to make any
Great matchup.
comments on Pook's team at all?
Oh, his team is ass.
Okay, it's looking pretty
Then
strong.
Cheese, no comment over there, Cheese, just like Kamala last night when she knew she lost.
I guess Cheese is gonna do the Matt approach where he stays quiet for a while until we
What? Oh
get.
no, I'm muted, Zach.
Oh, okay.
You
Oh,
think I'm listening
no
to that?
shot.
Okay.
No
All
shot.
right, moving on to the next matchup. This was a bit of a surprise. Bill taking down Rat in a kind of blowout, 115 to 84. Not really competitive. Rat's team only scoring 84 points. He made that trade for Kyler Murray to play this week, and it did not work as he had a horrible COD-like game with only 4.7 points. Ouch. James Conner, though, ran pretty well, did nice. He had to start McNichols because Robinson was out and he did nothing. Devontae Smith had a nice game. That was kind of the bright spot. Dobbs didn't do much. Bowers has come back down to earth a little bit. I think defenses are starting to adjust to his high target whole offense, and I think everyone's just starting to give him all the attention because there's nothing else on the Raiders to be worried about. And yeah, then his flexes both got single digits as well. On Bill's side, pretty solid performance. Josh Allen had a very nice game, who he started over Baker. That was a good call there. Walker had an okay game. Madison did shit. Jacoby Myers had a very nice game though with 11 targets. It was more of a Myers than it was a Bowers game. Obviously though, Bill did get an injury bug with Chris Olave, so that trade does not look like it's going to work out for Bill, as this is now his second concussion this season, and who knows how long he's going to be out for now. If he comes back, the Saints are ass, so there's really no reason for them to rush him back. So that does not look good for Bill, as he's had another wide receiver injury. He's not been able to keep his wide receivers healthy this season. First, Godwin with that crushing injury, now Olave. But he does have two very solid tight ends with McBride and Kate Otten, who is looking like one of the waiver pickups of the season. A couple of weeks ago when Godwin and Evans got hurt, he went for a pretty decent penny, and I'm sure some people are wishing they outbid a little bit more to get him because he's looking very solid now as a clear top option for the Buccaneers. And also Tillman, nice pickup from last week with 19 huge points. He's looking like the only option for Cleveland. So maybe Bill can overcome these wide receiver injuries with some good waiver wire pickups towards the end of the season, who are having some nice games to keep him in the hunt at 6-3. He's tied for first place, so at least he's got some wins under his belt. If he does kind of struggle the next couple weeks, we'll see. Rat, Your comments after another disappointing week. You're now 4-5, under 500. Comments after your loss to Bill.
Uh, my team has to stop dying and being pussies. Higgins
Okay.
and well, mainly Higgins.
Yeah.
He's the one that just keeps
I think
not wanting
aren't
to
they already
play.
listing him as doubtful for this week?
Rat's team
Uh,
is the Kamala Harris of the league.
Oh no.
Whoa.
Wow.
So he can make those jokes, but
Wow.
Talked a
not
big
me,
game
huh?
just to be the last one that
Um,
mattered.
can I finish
Wow.
up? Jeremy
So he
McNichols.
can make those jokes, but not me. Tell him to
Let him
unmute me, little
finish. Let
bitch.
him finish.
I don't know why I had to. I mean, Jeremy McNichols should never be in a starting lineup for
Mm.
even like a 32-man league.
He did get 8
Um,
carries, but
Slayton and Al Pierce, I'll never see you again in the lineup. So
okay.
hopefully not. So yeah, hopefully something
I
goes right.
mean, you might have some good news with McCaffrey coming back, maybe to save you, and
Something needs
Nico.
to save me.
I mean, you
Potential
really
trade
need
that
both them
option.
back. It's just a matter, do they come back this week, or does it cost you another week? Because if you lose another week, then you're 4-6.
A potential trade in the works that I have.
Can I make a comment? Can I make a comment on Rat's team?
Yes, go ahead.
I think Rat has a decent team,
Oh,
and
okay.
I think if he gets to the playoffs, he could have a chance. The issue is I don't know if he can get there with everybody's team dying every week.
Okay.
So I would say it's a bit out of his control.
I
But
mean,
at the same
yeah,
time, there
he's
were
gonna have
some
to start
waiver
winning.
wire options that he could have picked up, like Bill did,
Mm.
make up for these injuries.
Oh, okay. So you're saying Rat did not get the
All I'm
waiver wire
saying
guys
is
that Bill
half of
got.
Bill's team is dead, and Bill made
Yes,
some really good pickups, and
he
he's looking
did.
fine.
Yes, I already talked about it.
I think Otten was a hard choice for me. I already had Bowers, and I was never gonna play.
Yeah, well,
Otten.
Bill's been doing 2 tight ends, and it's been
Rat, all I'm
working.
gonna say is like, T. Higgins was fucked for like weeks, and
Well, yeah, he's just being a pussy that's
Yeah,
not
T.
playing.
Higgins has been out a lot this season, starting
Yeah.
season now.
yeah, and next year he's
Now
gonna play
this
17
season.
games.
Fake Rat's team is
When
bad.
Jordan Mason
Oh.
gets hurt pregame
Okay.
and when Brian
Although
Robinson gets hurt.
maybe
Jordan Mason logged
McCaffrey,
a
if
full
he comes
practice
back,
this week. He's
maybe if
back.
McCaffrey comes back,
Yeah.
that could save you.
I mean,
But
if I
we'll
could
see.
sneak out
Fake Rat's
if I
team
could
is
sneak out
bad.
one more win somehow this week and come back with all my players, I think.
You're fucked.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
well, we
go
will
on the
see.
back.
All right, moving on to the next matchup, and this was a huge one for the bottom of the standings. Everybody a few weeks ago was ruling Slaps dead and out. He even ruled himself dead and out on the show a couple weeks ago, and ever since then, he has won some games to get him a
Well.
huge win over Matt, 135 to 105, to send Matt into dead last place now at 2-7. Slaps now at 3-6, so a game ahead of that dreaded last place. Slaps with a big week from Joe Burrow with 29 huge points. Chuba Hubbard in that trade. A lot of people gave him some heat for, Pook was shopping Chuba Hubbard all season and finally found a taker. But, he had a nice game this week and got him a Doug Does. Stevenson has had a nice couple bounce back weeks here. If Stevenson continues to have these type of games, it might just save Slaps out of last place. He started Tolbert, which, is a yikes, but he got him 10 points, so you'll take it. Sutton as well in that trade with Pook has worked for this week with 23 big points. Hawkinson in his debut didn't do a whole lot, but, it's his first game back. And then Keenan Allen just continues to be a disappointment, but at least he got Sutton with a big game from that trade. And Josh Downs with, Flacco. He gets a lot of targets with Flacco. So as long as Flacco's in there, he can continue to get double digits probably from Downs. So it's looking decent. Not horrible this week for Slaps. On Matt's side, he picked up Kirk Cousins, which wasn't horrible, I guess, 17. Derrick Henry did his normal thing. But then you look at the rest of the lineup and you just wonder, where else is the points coming from Matt's team? The Chicago boys both didn't do that great. Keenan Coleman, it's either a monster game or a complete shit game, and this week it was a complete shit game. Mark Andrews did nothing. Jared Anderson, though, did have a nice game, but Pittman continues to look like one of the busts of the season. If he's not hurt, then he's getting no points. So a lot of single digits from Matt's side, from the wide receivers and flexes, and that's what's going to cost you on most weeks, and it cost Matt this week. But a big win for Slaps. Anybody want to make any comments on this matchup?
Who was playing?
Slaps and Matt. Slaps gets another win to get out of the basement.
I let
Both
Slaps back
those
in the
teams
league.
suck.
Okay.
Slaps has an RB1, a wide receiver one. Slaps is back.
Oh,
He ain't back. He ain't coming
very
Stevenson
back.
had
positive.
another good week. Son
He's
had
looking
another good
better.
week.
Mm,
His team's
okay.
back.
I would say he's looking better.
His whole
Is it too
team's
late?
back. Slaps is
Campbell
Well,
in the
has more of
it
a
playoffs.
might be
chance to
too
win than
late.
Slaps
I
does.
think I'm not saying is he good enough to get in the playoffs? I think that ship's sailed. But is it good? Is it good enough to get not last place?
I mean, maybe.
Okay, because a few weeks ago everyone was saying it was done and dusted, including
I
himself.
mean, it looked like that 2 weeks ago, and
Yeah,
then his
and
players started turning
how
around.
things can turn around. That's why you never know in fantasy. One week your team
I
can look
still
complete
think
shit,
I
then
still
turn
think the
around.
Steelers fade, but we'll see.
Okay.
They play a bunch of hard defenses coming up.
All right, moving on to the matchup of the week, I would call this. Ernie in another high point, tight battle affair that came right down to Monday night. Stop me if Ernie's heard that before this year. But this time he actually gets some Monday night luck and pulls out one of the closest ones of the season,
Oh, so
149.26 to 149.94. It literally came down to getting into that overtime with Mahomes
against
to
Cheese.
get the points, just get enough points with the one rush he had and the passes to Kelsey on that drive to get him the points that he needed. Tough one for Cheese to take, scoring 149
Get
points and getting a
fucked,
loss.
Cheese.
I guess you could say this matchup was not like the election because the election was not close, but this was high scoring and close. Ernie, though, desperately needed this win to go to 4-5 now and keep himself in the mix. If he would have lost to Cheese on this type of matchup, being this high scoring, it probably would have broke Ernie's heart for good this season and would have put him in a tie with Slaps. And I know Slaps was ready to give him tons of shit if he was in the same record as Slaps. So big win for Ernie. Obviously, we have to start with Saquon Barkley. Thank you, Cheese. We all said, Barkley's been killing it this season, and sure enough, against Cheese and his Giants, making
Sure
them pay
was.
with another monster game. Other than that, Pitts did nothing this week. It seems like it's boom or bust. Kamara, though, had a very nice game after some bad ones to kind of try to match A-Chain on Jesus' side, who had 32 huge points as well. So overall, though, the whole lineup's produced. Obviously, the Lions boys did their normal thing. Mooney, though, had a very nice game, so that was a good bright spot for Cheese. Zay Flowers, who he traded for, had a huge game. So that looks good from Cheese to get rid of Adams for Flowers, although Adams had a nice game too. It really just came down to the fact both their tight ends completely shit the bed, but Pitts just did a little bit slightly better than what Zach Ertz did.
Look. Congrats on Ernie. He really needed it. His team put up a performance. I'd rather lose than lose 80 to 70 or whatever.
Get fucked, Cheese.
Yeah.
But Kittle's on a bye, so unlucky for me. But we're looking good. I'm putting up like 130, 140 every week, so
Yes,
fine.
you are putting up a lot of points.
I would like to
and I
make
do
a
pick up a
comment.
lot of protection in the most points for. So
Yeah,
I would
I
like to
don't
make a
think you're
comment.
in any danger of missing the playoffs. I think you're in a
I would like to
very
buy,
strong
but,
position.
it's
But
tough.
it is now going to be close with the three-way tie for first
I
place
just
at
need to
6
tie
and
for
3.
first, though. My points for is almost 100 points higher.
Okay. All right,
My
Zach,
turn.
go ahead.
Okay. Golfer,
Yeah, I'm
please pass along the message
Okay.
to Cheese that his team is ass and he is
Okay.
in danger of missing the playoffs.
All right, geez, Zach said your team is ass and you're in danger of missing the playoffs.
Zach doesn't even know who's on his roster.
I don't think anybody believes that, but okay.
Zach, you're a non-voter. Your
Jeez.
opinion is meaningless.
Oh boy.
Tell him unmute me if he wants to talk to me.
All right, moving on to the next matchup of the week. We saw Zach also picking up a big win over Pusa to help a lot of us betters of Pusa, 140 to 122. So another high-scoring matchup that goes Zach's way this time. Lemar, obviously, with another monster game. He's looking like one of the MVP quarterbacks of the fantasy season. Jonathan Taylor, though, with only a single-point game. But J.K. all day showed up in a big way this week with 24 huge points. Tyreek Hill, though, Tua's come back. It's 2 weeks now, and, it's kind of just mediocre, not what we're normally seeing. But don't worry,
Wait for it.
you're facing me
Getting
this
warmed
week,
up.
Zach, so I'm sure after a couple low weeks, Tyreek will have a monster game this week against me.
Thank
Jaden Reed had a nice game. Travis Kelsey obviously seems to be back with
He's
16
back.
targets
He's
and 100
back.
yards. With the injuries the Chiefs have at receiver, he is filling that void and
He is
having
back.
huge games the last few weeks. Wandell, though, with a shit game
Game,
and only 4
Wandell.
targets. So the targets are slightly going down with Wandell over the past few weeks. Eckler, though, got a touchdown and had a nice game in Zach's flex. And Tucker with 12 points. On Pusa's side, nice huge game from Jalen Hurts as he's been balling out the last few weeks for fantasy. His running backs also did very solid, although Jamar Chase was kind of with a down game. This could have been the difference if Chase popped off with Tyreek Hill only getting 12, but they both kind of equaled each other out with lower games. Waddle got a touchdown later, else it was going to be a complete disaster for Waddle, and only 2 targets in the game. Still wondering if he's going to start cranking it up. Devontae Adams, though, like you said, that trade, he did lose 9 points off to Zay Flowers if he just kept Zay Flowers because he had 29, but it wouldn't have mattered because 9 wouldn't have made up the difference, so I guess it didn't cost him that badly. But a big win. A.J. Brown picked up a slight injury, so we'll see if he's back hurt, if that hurts Pusa moving forward maybe. He only got 5 points and was out some of the game hurt, so maybe a little bit of issues there for Pusa at 5-4 in the mix. Zach now 5-4, so he's right there for that playoff spot potentially. Zach, your comments after your big win over Pusa?
This win was almost as easy as last night's win. Phew.
Yeah. Which one felt better, the beating Pusa or Trump
Uh,
winning?
I say both.
Oh, okay.
Can't just pick one.
Okay.
They go hand in hand.
All right. Anybody else want to make any comments on this matchup?
That was my bet.
Yes. Yeah, we were big Zach fans this week against Pusa. All right. Moving on to the final matchup of the week. And this saw Tyler picking up a huge win that he desperately needed over Zombie, so he also gains a game on Matt, who lost to Slaps and is now 3-6. Tyler is. Zombie, though, he got up there close to the number 1 spot and now has lost some now to drop himself back to 5-4. Only 97 points as well, 126 to 97. And he's got some concerns moving forward as Dak Prescott is now hurt and probably going to IR, so that's going to be a big issue for Zombie. Breece Hall with just another mediocre game. Breece Hall, number 2 overall pick. Zombie made that huge decision, and it has not paid off as he just continues to get like 10 points a week and not having the monster 20-some point games like I'm sure Zombie was thinking. Aaron Jones just mediocre. Drake London mediocre and got a little banged up as well. Neighbors, ever since he come back from his injury, he's getting targets, but it's not equating to the 20-some point games. And Njoku single digits. Really, it was Cooper Kupp that was the bright spot for Zombie's team. And Brian Thomas is either a huge game or a very low game. So Zombie's team is a lot. I'm looking at Zombie's team, and it's a lot of boom or bust. So that makes it very dangerous for Zombie. Very dangerous for Zombie moving forward, because if it's boom or bust, if they all bust, he's getting a very low score and losing.
Way too much shit.
Who, Zombie?
Yeah, he was saying his team was the best team like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so he jinxed.
He was talking a big game.
I think he was more shit talking on some of your guys' teams that were losing, and he was trying to catch up to you. But there's definitely teams that are ahead of him now and that are looking much better.
He put up 170 on week 7 versus me.
Yeah,
He was talking.
Mm-hmm. And then it's gone downhill since then, and now he's got injury issues. Quarterback, Drake May with 15. He's very boomer busty. So we'll see if Zombie sticks with him or if he goes elsewhere. Dowdle had a nice game on his bench, so maybe he can get something for that moving forward. But other than that, Tyler, big win for him, as I said. Mixon continues to look very strong for him at running back. St. Brown, obviously, we know is always going to do good. Nakua got ejected, so luckily that didn't cost Tyler's matchup with only 2 points after throwing a punch, so that's kind of yikes. But JSN with DK out, monster game with 37 big points. That is looking very nice for Tyler right now. We'll see, though, when DK comes back. I don't think you can expect these monster games from JSN forever with DK coming back, but overall, Tyler, he's made some moves, and some of the weeks they've worked out, and some of them they haven't. But at 3-6, not totally done if he can keep stacking some wins the next few weeks. But at least he's a game ahead of Matt, so at least he's not in dead last place to see what happens. Anybody else want to make any comments on this matchup?
Zombie let us all down.
Oh, yeah, some of you did pick Zombie this week in Eliminator, or in the Survivor picks, which we'll get to. All right, so then looking at the standings after this interesting weekend, it is getting very, very tight. It seems to always look like this every season. We have a three-way tie for first place, as I mentioned, at 6-3. We have Cheese, Pook, and Bill. Then we have a whole slew at 5-4. Pusa, Zombie, Zach, and myself would round out the playoff spots at 5-4. And then we have the 4 and 5s of Ernie and Rat. Rat now down to 9th place after being in the playoffs most of the season.
Lol.
Then we have the 3 and 6s, so really only 2 games back of a playoff spot at the moment. Tyler and Slaps, and then Matt in last place at 2 and 7. So the standings shaped out nicely for this week. Everybody's within a couple games of each other, especially the top spots. So it's bunching up for these next few weeks will be crucial to play out the standings. I mean, the more I look at these standings, the more it looks like 7-7 probably gets you in, but 7-7 with a low points for might get you like 8th place and just keep you out. So it's going to be interesting to see. Looking at the waivers for this past week, not a ton of action, but a little bit. Rat picks up Mike Gesicki, who's having some big games with T. Higgins out the last couple weeks for $14. Beat out Pusa for 8, so pretty good bid there. We'll see if T. Higgins is doubtful. He's doubtful this week, so he should be out again. That could be a decent play for Rat to try to fill a void that he's desperately going to have. I picked up the Mingo guy from Dallas just because Zach Moss is probably done for the season and is now on IR. Bill gets Taysom Hill. Tyler picks up Jalen Wright. Rat picks up another tight end and Jonnu Smith. I picked back up P. Ryan. And then the kicker pickup for Bill. And Tyler picks up Danny Dimes and drops Parker Washington. Interesting.
Lol.
All right, so not too much going on in waivers. There was only one trade this past week, and it was kind of mediocre. It was like Tua for something. I don't even remember, but we're not really going to spend too much time on that. It's kind of a meaningless one. Looking then ahead to week number 10, some big matchups on the schedule, starting with me versus Zach, a battle of 5-4 versus 5-4, 6 seed versus 7 seed. So the loser might find themselves out of the playoffs going into next week, so it's kind of a big one. At the moment, Sleeper projecting me to slightly win 126-123, but a higher scoring projection. I have Purdy coming back off bye against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's been in some shootouts, so I'm hoping that's the case this week. Cook against the Colts. Chase Brown on Thursday night to get me started against Baltimore. Baltimore obviously playing very well, but Chase Brown now seems to be the top guy getting the ball, so hopefully he can get more passing like he did this past week to become a PPR machine, hopefully. CeeDee Lamb, we'll see if he's good to go or not. He's picked up an injury, and now with Dak Prescott out, obviously it's going to temper some of CeeDee Lamb's expectations. I'm hoping he can still get 15, around there, but it's going to be difficult with Cooper Rush, so not the best situation for me and my team at the moment with that. Garrett Wilson against Arizona had a monster game this past week. Hopefully that continues. I'm going to need it. Kincaid against the Colts, Kareem Hunt against Denver, Debo back off bye against Tampa, and Boswell against Washington. Hopefully it's Fat D this week against Zach. On Zach's side, he has a Thursday night play with Lamar against Cincy, so we both have a Thursday night. That's going to be a big game to get us started. Taylor against Buffalo, JK all day against Tennessee, Tyreek on Monday night, so he does also have a Monday night player. Wandell over there in Germany in that shit fest of a game against Carolina. Travis Kelce against Denver. Demarcus Robinson in there on Monday night against the Dolphins as well. Eckler against Pittsburgh, and Tucker on Thursday. So you got 2 Thursday night, 2 Monday night. It's probably going to come down to that. I do like my flex and wide receiver positions better than Zach's, although Tyreek Hill scares the living daylight out of me because he's due for a pop-off game, just like Hopkins was due for one last week. That does scare me. Robinson, though, doesn't scare me that much, and Eckler. It's all going to come down to does Cincy have anything in that divisional matchup for Lamar to try to just contain him to like 20 points, or does he get the 30-point game? But I am going to obviously take myself. I'm not going to be a pussy, but it will be lower or it will be high scoring, close. I think around like 135 to 130. It's going to be a sweat on Monday night, but I'm hoping I will pick up a win just like Trump did yesterday. Rat, who's winning this matchup?
Golfer is. I like the James Cook and Kincaid matchup this weekend against the Colts. Cream Hunt against your Broncos. Broncos usually suck when it comes to rushing deep. Garrett Wilson, that boy's popping off, and the only thing that scares me on Zach's team this week is Tyreek.
Okay.
Nothing else scares me.
All right, Cheese.
Golfer will be taking this in a landslide like his boy
Oh.
Trump.
Oh.
The new wide receiver one on the Dolphins is A-Chain.
Oh.
Also,
Yeah,
Wandale is declining because Andrew sucks. And Marcus Robinson only had points because Pooh got ejected.
Okay.
And Eckler only got points because Brian Robinson didn't play. So.
All right, man. We'll see what happens with all those situations. All right, Zach, you picking up a win against me this week?
GG Golfer. You
You
won.
won? Oh, you won.
You won, buddy.
Oh, okay.
GG.
All right, you're doing the Pook strat from last week when after Thursday night he already gave me the GG I won when Wilson won.
GG, you
All
won.
right. Well, after Lamar and Tucker pop off tomorrow night, I will be giving you that strap back.
GG, you won.
All right, moving on to the second matchup of the week. We have Rat versus Zombie. Obviously, these two, when they go at it, it's going to be a little bit of an AIDS fest. And both teams are reeling a little bit, which makes the matchup even more interesting. At the moment, Sleeper projecting Zombie to win 116 to 110. Rat has CJ Stroud back in there against Detroit. He's hoping Nico comes back. Detroit, obviously, a very tough team. But after what Kyler did last week, and he's facing the Jets, I don't blame Rat for putting Stroud in, but I'm sure he's praying that Nico is back. Connor against the Jets. McCaffrey in there against Tampa Bay, assuming he's going to suit it up this week. Who knows what to expect out of CMC? Will he just have his vintage 20-plus, 30-plus game where he gets used like crazy, or do they kind of ease him into it? Devontae Smith, they desperately need wins. This is kind of a different situation. You know, he's coming back, and the team is not in the playoff hunt at the moment, so they need to use him quite a bit to get the wins. It's not like they can just coast him in because they're 7-1 or something. Devontae Smith against Dallas. Nico, like we said, we'll see if he's good to go. He hasn't practiced yet, so we'll see. Gesicki in there tomorrow night, so he's going to roll with the two tight end strat with Goddard in the flex as well against Dallas. Brian Robinson, assuming he plays, and you just got to pick up a kicker? Rat?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Picking him up later.
All right. And on Zombie side, he has Aaron Rodgers in there against Arizona. He has been playing a little bit better passing the ball the last couple of weeks, but it's always risky, with Rodgers. Breece Hall as well, so maybe he's hoping for a touchdown pass from Rodgers to Hall out of the backfield or something. Aaron Jones against Jacksonville should be decent. Drake London, we'll see if he's good to go against the Saints. Neighbors in that shitfest game on Sunday morning against Carolina. He's got Njoku on a bye currently, so he has to get a tight end. Does he have one? Oh, he's got Freiermuth, so he just got to move Freiermuth back in there against Washington. Cooper Kupp on Monday night, so he does have a Monday night player against Miami. Thomas against Minnesota, and Dicker against Tennessee. I'm going to take Zombie, although I'm not sure about the quarterback situation. I think at the moment, Zombie's team is just a little bit more stable than Rat's, especially as you kind of go down to his flex positions, like his Cup and Thomas and Neighbors and London. A little bit better than, and I mean, I like Smith and I like Collins, but then you get to like Goddard and Brian Robinson coming back from injury. We'll see. I mean, obviously, if McCaffrey pops off for like 30, then that helps Red a lot. But I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna ease him in and use Jordan Mason a little bit as well. So yeah, I'm gonna take Zombie in a closer one. I think the projections are pretty close, like 115 to 110 type of matchup. But I think Zombie pulls it out. Jeez, who's winning?
Zombie's gonna win.
Okay.
Sorry. Rat's team is just the injuries.
hmm
Like I don't trust that. At least like one of his players will get injured and miss time in
Oh,
the game.
oh God. You're already saying re-injury right when they come back, huh? Oh
I'm
boy.
saying they're not gonna like push it the first
Yeah,
game.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I don't know. It might be a shit fest if I'm gonna be honest with you, because
Okay.
Drake London's kind of hurt. Neighbors is gonna do shit all in Germany.
Okay.
Brian Thomas is banged up. Can just nobody win? This is gonna be bad. It's
I mean,
gonna
you
be
can
a bad
predict a
matchup.
tie.
I will predict a tie of like 70
Okay.
to 70.
All right. Zach,
Who's playing?
Zombie versus Rat.
Ooh, both those teams are dog shit, but one team is red and the other one is blue,
I knew you
so
were gonna say
I
that.
will be going with
One
fake
did make
red.
a difference. One did make a huge difference in their
Fake red.
votes in a very
Yes, sir.
controversial state. So, okay, fake
American hero,
Rat.
fake red.
That's right, and his family. Great job. All right, Rat, are you gonna pick up a win over Zombie like Trump got a win yesterday?
If this is the lineup that stays healthy, if they come back, Zombie is losing by a landslide like
Ooh,
Camilla.
okay.
And I'm not losing if I just need everybody back. That's what I'm struggling with over here. T. Higgins is already off to a good start, not playing tomorrow, so
Yeah.
maybe other guys can come back for me. It looks like Goddard's back. That's a good start. Goddard was a full practice today. I really do think Nico. I don't think they're going to go without Nico in a Sunday night football game against the Lions.
Okay.
And then this Devontae Smith injury, I don't know what to think until tomorrow. But yeah, I'm
Okay.
back, and hopefully Brown
Alright.
Robinson plays.
Okay. Sounds like you got a lot of question marks there to be announcing you're back, but all right, we'll see. All right, moving on to the next matchup, we have Pusa versus Matt. So Matt, after that heartbreaking loss last week to Slaps, now has to face Pusa. Right now, Sleeper predicting Pusa to win 119 to 109.
Pusa sucks.
Has Jalen Hurts against the Cowboys, Rashad White against the 49ers, Pollard against the Chargers, Jamar Chase tomorrow night to get him started against Baltimore. He's sticking with Waddle on Monday night against the Rams. Rams defense not the best, and it's Monday night. Cole Kmet in there against the Patriots, and Devontae Adams against the Cardinals. AJ Brown, we'll see if he's okay to go against Dallas. What are they saying on AJ Brown? Is it he's limited
Uh,
on Wednesday? So
He'll be good to
he'll
go.
probably be good to
He'll
go if
be
he's
fine.
limited on Wednesday. And Fairbairn on Sunday night. On Matt's side, he has Cousins sticking with Cousins against the Saints. Obviously, the Saints have been dreadful, so that should be decent. Henry tomorrow night, so they both got a Thursday night player, and they're big ones, Henry versus Chase. So that will be big for the matchup. Swift against the Patriots, DJ Moore against the Patriots. Good matchup for the Bears to maybe get their offense right after they've struggled since the bye. They looked so good before the bye, then they've struggled the last couple weeks. Coleman against the Colts. Mark Andrews as well tomorrow night. Addison against Jacksonville should be decent. Still Pittman against Buffalo. Not the best. And McPherson on Thursday. So Matt has 3 Thursday night players. Wow, he's going to need to get off to a good start with those. Pusa did send a comment, even though he's ducking because of the election. But he did send a comment that said, congratulations to Zach on his big win last week. Good luck rest of the season. He
Fuck
said, I
Pusa.
wish Matt the best of luck this week, as I know it will be a close match. Really? Good luck.
Well,
Wow. Okay, I do not think this will be that close. I'm going to take Pusa. I just like some of his players better. I think Chase has a big bounce back game this week in that divisional game. I kind of like Komet. Um, DJ Moore could have a nice game, but I think Komet might get some extra work. And then obviously Adams, Brown. I think Pusa's wide receiver is going to have very nice games this week against Dallas and Hurts. And I just think there's a lot more question marks, like with Pittman, I don't like, and Addison had a big week last week, so maybe he doesn't do as much this upcoming week, and who knows with Coleman. So I'm going to take Pusa, although I will be rooting for Matt, obviously, but I think Pusa pulls out the win.
I'll go next.
Okay, Zach, go ahead.
Matt by an electoral college landslide.
Wow, like what we saw yesterday. Wow.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
So you're saying he wins the electoral college and the popular vote in
And
this
the
matchup.
popular vote.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. Wow. All right, Rat.
Matthew Thomas with the upset of the
Wow. Oh.
week against
Okay.
Pusa, Derrick Henry, Mark Andrews, and Evan McPherson. Will start them off hot with 65 points tomorrow.
Wow, some big predictions there. Okay.
DeAndre Swift and DJ Moore are back for the Bears. They need a win after looking shaky lately.
Okay.
And Addison against Jacksonville, he outscores Justin Jefferson this week.
Oh my God, a bunch of big predictions there for Matt that he will gladly take. All right, Cheese.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be Pusa.
Okay.
Like Waddle's doing nothing, and I think Devontae Adams have a worse game, but Matt's team is just kind of in shambles.
Okay. So we went from the huge optimism from Rat to Cheese with no optimism at all for Matt.
I'm so it's
Okay.
you can't. How am I gonna like DJ Moore? Literally, you saw that video mid play. He just went to the bench and sat down.
Okay.
And
All
Coleman is
right.
like he got intercepted, and he did not play and could miss more than a week apparently. Looking at the latest update. So
Okay. All right, moving on to the next one. We have a Cheese at 6-3 versus Tyler at 3-6. We said earlier Tyler needs to stack a couple wins together. However, this is going to be a tough one, but look at Sleeper, 125 to 124.81, so like a 50-50. So Tyler might have a chance this week. It could be a good week for Tyler. He's projected pretty high. I love it. He's starting Daniel Jones against Cheese. I don't know if that's necessarily it, but we will see. I like the play, Cheese's Giants versus himself. Which also Tyler was requesting Cheese last night, that you change your team name this week to Kamala Harris. That way it's Donald J. Trump versus Kamala Harris. That way it would ensure that Tyler wins this week. Are you going to do that?
no, fuck that cunt.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Mixon on Sunday night against Detroit. Tyrod Tracy as well on Sunday night. Man, so this shit fest of Germany is going to mean something for Tyler with the Danny Dimes and Tracy connection. St. Brown on Sunday night. So it's either Sunday night or Sunday morning for Tyler so far. Then Monday night with Puka Nacua against the Dolphins. Ingram on Sunday against Minnesota. Harrison against the Jets. A little bit tough. And Harrison, you'd see this boom or bust. Dunze against the Patriots. We'll see if Tyler's Bears boy can come through. And Bucker against Denver. On Cheese's side, Daniels against Pittsburgh. Tougher defense. So we'll see if Daniels is up to that MVP caliber against that tough defense. Obviously, Sunday night, the Lions boys for their 30 against Houston. Happens every week. Darnell Mooney against the Saints. Should be decent. Zay Flowers against Cincinnati tomorrow night, so he's a Thursday night player. Kittle back in there off bye against Tampa Bay. Otchain on Monday night, so they both have Monday night players as well. Shakir against the Colts, and Seibert against Pittsburgh. Oh, I don't think I can ever pick a team that starts Danny Dimes, so I'm going to take Cheese. Although, if Cheese does change his team name to Kamala, then obviously I will pick Tyler.
Golfer, can I go next?
But I don't think Cheese is going to do that, so I'm going to take Cheese. But I think it will be closer than what the records show. Yes, go ahead, Zach.
He could change his name to Hillary because Trump beat her too.
Yeah, I think the only thing Cheese should do is change it to Biden. That might be his best chance.
I
If
hope
he's
Biden dies. I'm worried.
Wow!
Whoa.
Whoa! Wow!
Whoa.
Oh my God!
We are on a
Jesus.
PG show, Chief.
Oh my God!
We know who's winning this one, just like last night Tyler is.
I want
Wow.
to.
Okay, so you're taking Tyler. All right.
Oh
Rat.
yeah.
Danny Dimes is gonna do God's work in Carolina
Oh
and be a
God.
top
I've
three
heard
quarterback this
that
week.
before. Top three? Oh my God, you're smoking.
We also, I think, have to look back to the apology that we have to make that it was Tyler that traded Amari Cooper for Tyrone Tracy and
Yes.
JSN.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
kind of working out
It's
because
been
Tyrone
working out. Yeah, because Cooper's
Tracy
ever
looks,
since he traded
yeah.
him, Cooper's been hurt. He had that one
Um,
nice week Cooper did, and then he's been out. So
Tyler is 3-6, but his team actually does not look too bad with St. Brown, Nikhil, and Marvin Harrison now.
yeah,
I like the matchups. I think
think-
it's going to be really close.
I think the big thing with Tyler though,
and-
although his wide receivers do look really good, it's the second running back and the quarterback. That's just, I mean, he's searching for a quarterback every week. So
I like the Lions boys. I mean, I like them for the season. This Houston matchup, though, I think this could be the one week it doesn't work out.
Wow, you're saying this is the 1 week they don't combine for like 30?
Yeah, yeah, it's the
Wow,
1 week
okay.
it doesn't work out.
Hmm.
But I like Kittle's matchup, Flowers matchup. I think they help. Chain, obviously, that's a good 25 against the Rams. But I think it's close with Tyler sneaking it out by like 5.
Wow, so you're taking Tyler. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, Cheese, are you gonna get back in the win column this week?
As usual, I'm taking myself.
No.
Does it worry you at all that you're facing Donald J. Trump?
Um,
Well, it didn't worry you at all last night
Last night.
until the polls
Until
started.
it's too late.
my team puts up like 130 every week. We will win.
Okay. Strong.
Tell him Cameron
I
only needed
disagree with
130 more electoral points.
The Detroit Blaze will be fine.
Okay.
Because even if the running game stuff, they'll just dump off the Gibbs a lot.
Okay.
Mooney's looking great. Very happy with Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
And New Orleans sucks. So,
Yeah.
and they just traded Lattimore. So
Yeah, that was a good pickup.
Mooney
Mooney's been
will
good.
be picking up points. Zay Flowers, number 1 wide receiver in Baltimore. We're looking good. Divisional matchup. They're going to try really hard. Kittle, thankfully, is back. He is the wide receiver 1 of the San Francisco 49ers.
Not
CMC
this week
could
when
eat-
Fat D shows up, but okay.
Pat
Whoa.
D's the running back 1.
Not anymore.
And I think the X factor for our team is A-Chain with Tua gets like 30 points every week. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can do that, I think we're in good shape.
All right. So
The
you're
only
taking-
issue is Cybert looks potentially hurt.
Oh,
So I
so
might
you're
have
going
to
be
pick up
going back
whoever-
to a kicker. Oh,
Well,
we've seen
I'm
that
just gonna
before
pick
a
up
few times this
whoever
year.
the Washington backup kicker is.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Moving on to the next matchup of the week, we have Ernie at 4-5 after that big win versus Cheese versus Slaps, who's put a couple wins together at 3-6. Only game back of Ernie. So you know Slaps would absolutely love to somehow steal this win against Ernie and talk some shit. Right now, Sleeper predicting Ernie to do it 120-109. Ernie has Patrick Mahomes with his best game of the season last week when Ernie needed it most against Denver this week. Saquon Barkley, obviously, huge game after huge game against Dallas. You know he's going to want to run wild against them. Kyron Williams on Monday night against Miami. He kind of had a down game last week, his first kind of bad game. So we'll see if he bounces back on Monday night. Tank Dell on Sunday night against Detroit. We'll see what happens with Nico. That might actually help Dell a little bit, though, if he's not just the sole option out there, if Nico comes back. Ladd McConkey against Tennessee should be decent. Kyle Pitts against the Saints. Kamara against Atlanta, so obviously he's got 2 players in that game. Calvin Ridley, of course, he fucking popped off against me 2 weeks ago, and then he came back down to earth last week. Chargers defense sneaky good, so I don't know about that. Aubrey against the Eagles On Slaps' side, Burrow tomorrow night to get him started, so he needs another huge 29-point game from Burrow tomorrow night to get him off to a good start. Chuba Hubbard on that Sunday morning game. Stevenson against Chicago. Pickens against Washington coming off the bye. Sutton against Kansas City. Hawkinson in there against Jacksonville. Najee Harris against Washington. And Downs against Buffalo. And Koo in that New Orleans game. Slaps' team, it went from looking really, really dire bad a few weeks ago to, it doesn't look that horrible. He just doesn't really have the alpha wide receivers, so he needs these kind of middle of the pack wide receivers to pop off. He needs Pickens to have a huge target game from Wilson and get force fed the ball and actually get his feet down in the end zone when he catches it. And he needs Stevenson to keep doing his thing. Against Chicago's defense is kind of tough. I'm going to take Ernie. I think Ernie just has a lot more bigger players that can have more consistently big games. So I'm going to take Ernie. I do think it will be kind of close, though. It'll be a sweat, but I think Ernie will pull out the victory. Cheese, who's winning this matchup?
I think the Slaps run come to an end this week.
Okay.
Because Joe Burrow is going to get cooked on Thursday Night Football.
Okay.
The Giants game is going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to.
It's either going to be
Pop
disgusting
off.
or it's going to be a shootout.
No, it won't, it's so like it's not going to be a shootout. It'll just be defensive battle because defenses are actually good on the Giants. Or they're good. They're decent.
Okay.
And Bryce Young is terrible. I think that Pickens versus Washington's not great. Sutton versus KC, I don't like. Hawkinson could be decent. Najee could be decent. I just think that Ernie's team had a great week against me, obviously. And the Eagles with another divisional game, so Saquon's going to go hard. I think that the Texans really want to beat Detroit.
Jesus
so I think they'll get
Christ.
targeted.
I'll move
Byron
on.
could be big on Monday night. Kyle Pitts could pop off against New Orleans because they're so terrible. But I
Player
just think
by
that
player,
Slaps
holy
comes back
shit.
down to earth.
All right, so you're taking Ernie. Okay. Rat.
Well, Cheese's prediction lasted longer than Camilla's speech, but
Jesus, you're
Wow.
so
That was a
right.
good one. Oh my
but
God.
Ernie has had 2 straight high-scoring weeks. I didn't do it against Slaps. He does it this week against. He does it this week. Ernie
Okay.
puts up 160 and Slaps
I-
puts up 100.
Oh,
And
160 to 100. Oh my
Slaps
God.
is 3-7. Barkley's giving Ernie the high score of the week with 40 points.
I think Slaps will be happy to hear you shitting on his team because you've been shitting on his team for a while and that's kind of started to
I
turn
picked
around.
him last
so-
week and it worked.
Oh,
So
okay. Yes, you did. There was some
Okay.
people that did. You'll go over that in a minute. But all right, so Ernie gets a blowout win versus Slaps according to Rat.
Slab's team sucks.
Wow.
Ernie ain't gonna go for 160 either. He's gonna
Oh.
go for 312.
Insert Pusa with the blow pop on Ernie's dick Zach is doing. Okay.
312.
Okay, 312. I wonder where you got that number from. Okay. Which actually it might not be 312 now because I think she might have got Nevada.
Oh,
maybe.
golfer, Jesus.
She made a comeback there. All right, and then on to the final matchup of the week. We see Pook versus Bill in a big battle of 6 and 3s. So it could be a massive one. One of them's gonna lose, but one of them's gonna win. So if Cheese loses, they could find themselves in a solo first place situation. Big one here at the moment. Sleeper projecting Pook to win 113 to 95. Man, both these teams are doing good, and they're projected for
What the
so low.
fuck?
Why? Bill must have a ton of bias since his name is Bill Bipocalypse. He
His whole
doesn't
team.
have a running back in at the moment because Kenneth Walker's on bye, Madison's on bye, Tyler Lockett's on bye, Tillman's on bye, Jacoby Myers is on bye, and Olave is hurt. Oh my God, Bill! Holy shit! Of
Holy
course, Pook.
shit.
Of course, Pook gets to play Bill this week when he has all these buys. Typical lucky ass Pook. Pook has Darnold against Jacksonville, Bijan against the Saints, Bigsby against Minnesota, Jefferson against Jacksonville, McLaurin against Pittsburgh, Ferguson against Dallas, Hopkins after his big game against Denver. Laporta against Houston. We'll see if he bounces back. And the kicker for the Saints against Atlanta. So he's rolling this week with Darnold, obviously. Jacobs is on bye for him, though, so he does have a bye, one bye player. On Bill's side, he does have Josh Allen against the Colts, so if that game is high scoring, then Allen should get some good points there. Juggernaut Gervonta against Kansas City. We'll see what what Bill does in the second running back spot. See, I'm assuming he's just going to drop Elijah Moore for some type of running back, but there ain't going to be a really good option. So we'll see what he does. Xavier Worthy in there against Denver. Amari Cooper, assuming he comes back. Bill really needs him to play this week against the Colts, so maybe he can get some Allen to Cooper double points. McBride against the Jets, Otten against the 49ers. Both kind of tougher defenses, so we'll see how the two tight ends. Oh my God, he's going with 3 tight end strat
Oh
with Hill against Atlanta and Ryland against the Jets. The 3 tight end strat. It's never happened before, and now it's actually gonna happen. Unfortunately, though, I'm gonna take I'm gonna take Pook in a large victory, 20 to 30 points. You know, whoever Bill does put in the second running back spot, I don't think you can expect much from it. I don't think Worthy's going to do too much. And 3 tight end strat, but they all kind of have tough matchups, so I don't think that's going to work too well for Bill this week. Unlucky for Bill to have all these buys and all these problems, but I think Pook cruises. Cheese, who's winning?
If Pook doesn't win, he should retire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be embarrassing. All right, Rat.
It's going to be so bad that Bill loses that he's going to go to TikTok like the Camilla supporters and cry his ass off about losing the biggest fashion. I think Bill loses by 100 plus.
Damn, just like Kamala did.
So are you saying like Pook scores 170 and Bill scores 70, or?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So big week for Pook again. All right. Zach.
Tie.
You know what? If this one ends up being a tie, Zach, I will give you the most credit in the world, because this, with the way Bill's lineup is
bonus?
this week, yeah, I'll give you a bonus of something.
500.
All right, so there are the matchups for this week. Well, good luck to everybody on this week of fantasy.